I was like, what if I hit the camera? They were like, you won't hit the bloody camera, didn't I?
Little sweaty, little greasy.
That was my thong.
Oh, fuck, I knew it didn't fit.
But it's a huge spoiler for the show.
That was my first day. I mean, such drama.
Thank you for talking to Singapore and congratulations, we've come to the end. I know, so tell me, what was your last day on set like? Were there tears? Did it get emotional?
It was really emotional, really emotional. For me, it was the last day of shooting overall, so everyone was finishing that day. And
Me too, I was inconsolable for hours after I wrapped.
oh God, yeah.
But it was like a 5-day shoot that we were on, and so it was like for this one scene, and so I think by the end of it, we were all just like,
Finish the scene.
cut.
Let's do it.
What other shot?
I
Could you
kept
even
preparing
act?
myself. I was like, every time they would yell cut, I'd be like, oh my God, this might be it, this might be it. And then they'd be like, another setup. And so I'd like have to like touch on my tears. They'd be like, okay, don't cry yet.
I thought I would be completely fine.
Yeah.
But then at the end, I just broke down. And I didn't stop crying for it, I think nearly 2 hours.
It's a mixture of release, because you know you have done this for many years, and it feels like we've given everything, and it feels like everything should have an end somehow, and it's been beautiful, but still it's sad, because you know when you have a perfect team doing something perfect and great, it's sad.
I cried like a baby. I was very, very emotional. I'm not a crybaby at all, but yeah, it really got me.
You're avoiding thinking about it all day. You kind of recognise people in the morning, and you try and get on as professional. And at the end of the day, our producers and writers, David and Dan, come out and say very nice things about you, and suddenly you have to deal with the reality of you're never going to be wearing the costume again.
Did you cry?
I don't like it. I tried not to, but I couldn't keep it together.
Was there a particular item you had your eye on which you liberated after all these 8 seasons of Game of Thrones?
I don't know, I took a lot of the Faceless Man coins. I took one of those breakaway sticks in season 1, you know, when I hit Joffrey over the back.
I kept my corset.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and I kept a scroll as well. Brian Props gave it to me on my last day.
Wow.
He was like, take this scroll, man.
And you're like,
And I took it. But it's a huge spoiler for the show, for season 8, and so I've kept it like away in like the depths of my wallet, never to be seen by anyone.
I have liberated. I've found a new home for several items.
Could you share what they were?
I got a Dothraki sword. I've also pinched the stag that I give Shireen, the one I carve, and also the burnt one that I find in the ashes. I have that. That's on my daughter's wall of awesome.
Wall of awesome.
Yes. And I did have a large truck with a U-Haul van on the back just not long before we finished, but they turned me away at the gates. I was going to fill it up. I was going to take a couple of thrones, a few grand pianos, that kind of deal. But they wouldn't let me in. Bastards.
How about you, Richard? Did you liberate anything?
All I got was an eye patch. That's all I got.
But that's important enough.
It is, you know, but it's not. It just looks like a little sweaty, little greasy.
That was
rag
my
of a
thong.
thing. Oh, fuck! I knew it didn't fit. Anyway, yes, it's an eye patch, and I wanted my sword. So, Tommy, if you're out there, can I please get my sword?
Do you remember what it was like on your very first day on set? You were so young, both
was
of
it the
you.
feast scene?
It was the feast.
Yeah.
I barely remember that. Do you remember?
I remember like being sat at that table for like a really long time.
Yeah.
Didn't know where the camera was, didn't really know what was going on until like 3 hours in, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do the pie flicking bit, and everyone's like freaking out, and they're like, flick the pie, and everything was really like speedy, and I was like, I can't aim it. I was like, what if I hit the camera? They were like, you won't hit the bloody camera, didn't I?
Obviously.
I remember that.
I remember really well. I was so nervous. I was really nervous because I had to burn the 7 gods and I had to do a big speech for, you know, loads of people, and I was wearing a really thin, like a dress like this, with no thermal underwear because it was the fabric was just too thin, and it was freezing cold, and there was crazy wind, and I just had to play like nothing was wrong, and I was the most confident person in the world, and I just was shitting myself.
That's what you call good acting.
I guess. Well, yeah, that was definitely acting that I did there.
You know, I didn't have any grey in the beard on my first day, that's for sure. Look at me now. That's your fault.
I remember that my first day I hadn't signed the contract, so it was like, it felt like a second audition. Like,
wait, you did a day before you signed it?
No, yeah, I did a day, and I don't know if that was
well
conscious from this. I don't know, but it's like I hadn't. So like I could have entered the whole show after one day.
If you didn't enjoy your first day, were you just gonna walk?
I don't like this.
On my first day on the Game of Thrones set, there was a hurricane. And we tried to carry on working through it, but the set started being blown away. Yeah. And I have been on few film sets. Mm-hmm. I assumed that you just carried on. That's what I thought that you did. So we all just tried to carry on until the set literally started to blow away. And we had to reschedule. So that was my first day. I mean, such drama.